Well, a very pleasant evening to you. I am so super excited this evening. I have a beautiful, wonderful opportunity to chat with a lady whom I have a tremendous amount of respect for. We've worked together over the years, and I had just the amazing evening on Sunday as she celebrated 50 years and did it in a very unique way. And I want to introduce you this evening to a wonderful lady, none other than Mya Daniel.
Good evening, Adrian. Good evening, Barbados. Good evening, everyone who's joining us on this live stream. Pleasure to be here and honor to be here. Thank you for having me,
Wow.
Adrian.
Yeah. Tell me, you looked around on Sunday evening, we're going to start on Sunday. What exactly did that feel like you, that moment you looked around on Sunday and saw so many people in that space? What exactly did that feel like? How did you take that all in?
Oh my, Adrian, it was overwhelming. Actually, I felt that even before I entered the sanctuary because as my husband and I were driving in, we saw loads of ZR vans. I mean, I mean, just loads getting out, disembarking to come into the sanctuary. My husband said, "Wow, my wow, all these people are here. Wow, I could not believe it." So before I even got in, I was overwhelmed, and then to get there, and then to see the ancillary staff coming in and saying into the prayer room and saying, "Okay, we're gonna need more chairs. We're gonna need more chairs. Bring all, bring all, bring." I said, "What is happening?" They said, "Girl, there's standing room only out there. We need to get all these chairs from in here. Oh my goodness, to seat people comfortably and so on." It was an overwhelming feeling, honestly. Um, and so I had to really hold back tears. Honestly, I had to because I knew I had to minister, and I know if I cry, I can't sing, Adrian. Let me be frank. So I said, okay, I need to hold this together. I had a moment in the wings with one of my one of the ensemble team members, and we kind of let it out for a bit, and then I said, okay, I have to go now. I have to get it together. But really, honestly, the love I felt on Sunday was
Wonderful.
unmatched. Honestly, it really was
Really great.
unmatched.
And you kind of took your audience through a journey. It's like having a kind of overview of Maya Daniel. And one of the things that was stood up to me was the period with the New Testament soul children. Now, tell me, how much did that time with the soul children impact the Maya that we know today and shape the person that we know today?
Oh, a large percentage because the New Testament soul children was the groundwork for a lot of my ministry, a lot of the discipline that I have now. Because under the directorship of none other than Mr. Shelton Perkins, ably assisted by Lester Welt and Larry Nurse, um, we received invaluable training in those moments because Shelton is a no nonsense person, as we know. We know he's a former principal at St. Michael's School, and Shelton was a stickler for discipline. So, for example, we had to arrive at rehearsal a little before so we could start on time. Even in rehearsals for this, we had to do the same thing. If you got there late, someone you had to wait until you were invited in, and someone had to come and pray with you before you entered into the rehearsal. And he did the same thing for rehearsals for this. All right. So the same training that we had as children, Shelton has maintained up to now. We are able to sit long in services and sit through things because during rehearsals back then, Shelton said you couldn't just get up and walk up. You had to raise your hand and wait to be acknowledged before you could leave
Wow.
to go to the bathroom. I'm telling you. And all of us have maintained that to this day. We could not show up for just to sing if you have not been to all the rehearsals or the majority of the rehearsals. And if you missed the last week of all with tech and song and so on grand rehearsals, oh no, you couldn't sing at all. Oh no. So that has stayed with me, and I really, really treasure all that Shelter has poured into all of us as children because having come together for this now, we are just reliving every moment and so grateful to him and to them for what they poured into us. So a lot of what you see with New Testament Soul Children training, I'm telling you.
Now tell me, because I need to, I do remember the group, through those years, but the people who were there singing, are these, were these actually the children now grown up, all of them?
That's right. The thing is, the choir then had over 100 children. I think at one point we reached nearly 200 children. And we got everybody in the chat right now. We have about, yeah, probably close to 90. And but everybody couldn't make it for this. Some are overseas as well. Some are migrated, and others because of work commitments and so on couldn't make it to this event. But the chat is alive and well. And these are some of the those who you saw on stage, those 30 or so, 35 you saw. Those were actually members of the New Testament soul children who are still able to sing like that.
Man, can you really think about that though? And you think about now, there have to be still children within the New Testament church. What has really happened? How does this impact you? I mean, you were telling me about how this has influenced your life. What has happened, Maya? There is still the New Testament church. There's still children in the New Testament church. What has happened?
Um, I don't know if I can really answer that, but I think the focus has shifted somewhat because we don't have a lot of choirs like before, and we don't have the directors like Shelton Perkins, and um, I believe perhaps and persons have evolved and persons have moved on. A lot of persons have migrated as well because you see, Larry would have left and gone overseas and so on, and Shelton would have needed some help, as well as he was, aging on and so. But I think
Is he
there's room
really?
for
You said a Sheldon.
it.
I
Oh,
kind of
aging gracefully, aging gracefully.
Let's see is and
Um,
look at it.
but yeah, but I think this event has really stirred up something in Shelton, and he's really keen on getting us together again for something big. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
That
We'll
that
see.
is that is certainly something to look forward to.
Oh,
But
absolutely, absolutely.
so when did okay, so you're singing and so forth, everybody's involved in you're coming through a period when gospel music was really vibrant. When did this move from just being singing to a focus on your consciousness? This is my ministry. This is what the Lord wants me to do in terms of ministering to people.
I would say, I mean, I had a glimpse of it as a young girl when I remember doing a special solo one Sunday morning, and I was very young then, and something different happened that morning, and I started to get a glimpse of what this could be, and because I liked what I saw, I liked what I felt, and I liked what God did, and the director of music at our church at the time said to my dad, "There's something special here. You need to get to some voice training and so on." And shortly after that's when the Soul Children was formed. Then eventually I went to Doris Province South for a little bit. But I would have to say honest. I mean, I was singing and singing and singing and singing and so on. But then I must tell you, after that crisis in 1998, it took on a whole new dimension. The ministry evolved to a level that I could never have foreseen. And I realized then that the testimony was not just for me, but it was for others. It was to really bolster and enhance and advance and accelerate this ministry, and it did just that. When I saw young persons coming to the altar weeping after I shared that testimony the first time, when I looked back and saw band members, grown men weeping, I knew that this was the purpose. And Adrian, it has never been the same since then. Never, never.
Maybe for those who might not be aware, just to briefly tell us a bit about that crisis that you mentioned.
All right, so I was a student at University of West Indies. I just started my law degree, and I felt like I was coming down with something. And back in the day, you would take two contracts, rub down, and yeah, you'd be fine the next day. But I realized that this is not getting any better, and so on. Breathing became distended, difficult, and yeah, breathing became difficult. Stomach started, become distended, and then um, you know, doctor, they said, "Oh, she just dehydrated, give her some Synatogen, she'll be fine." And eventually, ended up my doctor, he said, "Okay, this is," they thought it might have been dengue, then said, "This is not dengue." Took some blood, realized it wasn't clotting, and said, "Okay, this is something else. This is something else that's going on." Got me to the hospital, and they discovered that it was something called streptococci shock syndrome, which is a bacteria that gets into your bloodstream and releases poisonous toxins and shuts down your organs one by one. And so it went for my lungs first. So that's the reason why the lungs were compromised, breathing was compromised. and they said that, you know, based on their research, what they were seeing um, suggested that I probably only had 24 to 40 hours to live.
Wow.
And so they asked my parents to, come see me to the last, make contact with anyone who they thought needed to see me, and to just get them to the hospital. And my parents called on the name of the Lord. And
Yes.
when they got there, they were told by one of the assistants that the strange presence of a man entered the room, and all that was wrong started to go right, Adrian. And that's when we knew that God was on the job, and that He would turn things around. And man, it was about 4 weeks in intensive care. Um, they said that I had that about 17 or 18 other reported cases from around the world came to their attention, and I was the only survivor. So that speaks volumes to me. That speaks volumes to me. I'm just so in awe of God and His grace, and I thank Him for allowing me this opportunity. I don't take it lightly at all, Adrian. I don't. I really, really don't, because the families of those 17 or 18 other persons would love to have them around now, and so I am just humbled, really, that God has given me this chance, and I intend to use it to the best of my ability, Adrian, to let
How,
somebody
how,
know that there's hope.
how would you say it's changed what really matters to you, Maya? How
Oh
has it
man.
changed?
Oh, everything. Everything. You don't sweat the small stuff. You try to, you know, live in peace. Settle this. Some things that we think are so big are really not that big, in the scheme of things. Um, and it's also taught me to be appreciative of every breath, because when your lungs are compromised and a machine has to do it for you, and the electricity goes off every morning, and you have to wait on the generator to cut back in, right, Adrian? You really appreciate every breath. Understand? When
Yes.
you have to learn to walk again, when you have to learn to brush your teeth again, when everybody has to do everything for you. Oh yeah, you appreciate
Wow.
every little thing that you're able to do on your own. You know what I mean? Um, so I am just thankful for the small things, for the big things. And I try to always say to persons, every breath you take is a miracle. Let's celebrate that. Sometimes we're looking for, big, big, big things. Well, God hasn't done too much for me today. But listen, every breath, you understand me? Every breath. Because it's not until you don't have it that you realize how important it is.
Yes. Yes, indeed. You titled Sunday Evening from Maya's Heart.
Mhm.
So at 50, what is really Maya's heart at 50 years old?
Love, joy, um, just a heart for the people, heart for the nation. Um, I want people to also feel appreciated. I want people to feel seen and heard, and because sometimes I think persons are doing everything they can to make life work, make life happen, and sometimes they feel alone. Sometimes they feel like nobody sees, nobody cares about how much they're doing to make it happen. And I want people to know that you're loved, you're seen. God loves you. I love you, and just thankful that you're here. Thankful that you're here and to enjoy another day. And there's an element of that's why I wanted to give this to Barbados, because they have walked this journey with me over the years. They've been there supporting me in prayer. I mean, when that crisis happened, businesses, churches opened their doors to pray. Business houses stopped, and people just held each other's hands and prayed. Adrian, um,
Mhm.
prisoners took time to write me letters. Prisoners on death row took time to write me letters. Hear what I'm telling you? Ministers in parliament took time to write and send me flowers. Okay. People sent telegrams from overseas. I had my listen, it was amazing. So the people took time to love on me and to let me know that they were there and they cared. And I wanted to let them know that I am here and I care. And I want you to feel that love from my heart. I want to be able to give back, as you saw, give back wherever I can, to help me ease somebody's load, somebody's burden. And that's what From My Heart was about, giving thanks from my heart and giving back from my heart.
before we forget, there was something on Sunday evening that somebody mentioned, said Reverend Maya. Is there a chapter I've missed? Is there something I've missed?
Well, Adrian, that's the other part of the story because I, always thought, well, this if from years, a person was saying to me, Maya, there's more, there's more, there's more. But I was saying, that's my dad and those great guys. I that's not for me at all. But God just has a way of getting your attention, huh? And I could not run anymore. Um, and then a few years ago, I got this call in my life to get into Bible school, and the Lord wouldn't let me sleep until I actually submitted the forms. I could not sleep, Adrian. And after I got the forms
Mm,
in, I had a full night's rest. And yes, I this heavy call in my life. I was ignoring it, but as I said, God sends people, put people in the right place to speak over me. And so on. Sister Euphemia from my church, she was on my case. I was ignoring it, and then Apostles Canterbury, Prophets Heather Canterbury, oh, they spoke. They got into my head, in my heart, my soul, everything, and spoke life into that, and addressed some of the fears that I had and concerns and so on, and rid me of those, and off I went. Registered Bible school, was able to sleep then, and then in my assembly, I was ordained. Yes, 2024, I think. Um, yes, as a reverend. So I serve alongside my dad and my mom and other
wow.
ministers in the church. Yes, so that's the new layer now that God has added, and yes, serving people in another way.
Wonderful.
Yes,
Wonderful.
so it's when we were, I actually I thought to myself, I probably miss singing a lot more. I still lead worship and so on, but I actually am enjoying the ministry of the word. I'm actually enjoying that. I didn't think I would enjoy it that much actually. So the thing that I was running from, I'm actually enjoying now, and probably even enjoying more. But don't tell my fans that enjoying that more. So you'll see me more doing that now. So I preach probably once a month. Yes. Except when I'm given breaks because of what's happening, like things like this for Sunday, once a month, and so on. And but I don't, sing, do a lot of singing now, um, and but I come out for these occasions, come out on special occasions, and when I feel really led to do something, I do it when I'm asked. And so, but it's not every cockfight that you'll find me at now. Sorry to put use the Beijing parlance, but not every cockfight now, because it's a different direction, slightly different direction now, a different focus. And I am really, really, I want to, I mean, I've been singing since I was 2.5, Adrian. So I've done a lot of that. And now in this season of my life now, I want to hone these skills. I want to really dig in deep, and really take it to the next level that God has for me.
I'm just wondering, you're celebrating your 50th birthday. You could have done a number of things for that. Um, one can think of a number of different ways that you could get people together just to celebrate a birthday. What landed you on this idea of doing an evening of worship
Oh man, worship is
and
my.
to
Sorry, go ahead.
celebrate your birthday?
Oh,
Yeah.
because worship is my life. That's the mantle I've been given. Worship, man. I just, oh man, that's my heart, and I could not think of a better way to do this in this, this magnitude. I wanted Barbados to be there to enjoy that with me, to celebrate with me, and to understand that all that I am, all that I have, and so on, and ever will be, really, the backbone of me is God. And I wanted people to understand I'm not here by chance. I am not here because, and yes, the doctors would have assisted. Yes, the doctors God used the doctors to achieve His purpose. But He was the person behind all of this. You heard what I said? Of the 17 or 18 other reported cases from around the world at the time, I am the only survivor. So I have to give God thanks, Adrian. I have to. They asked me to for permission to use my story, not the name or anything like that, but to use all the data collected for research purposes, and to in medical journals and so on. And they even included on the exam that year apparently, because it was Barbados had never seen it before. They'd never seen it before. Up to now, they don't know how I got that or how I survived that. They don't know how. They kept saying,
My God.
somebody upstairs is looking out for your daughter, Reverend Daniel. Somebody upstairs. My father kept saying, that's God,
You
that's our
tell me
friend.
who that person is.
That's right. And they just kept saying this. It really is unexplainable. I had I would go to the hospital for follow-ups, and I'd have orderlies coming to touch me to just see if I'm real. Just touch me, just to say I need to touch you because this you have no idea of how gravely ill you were. Orderlies that took me up. So you have no idea how gravely ill you were. Doctors have said to me, you will never understand how gravely ill you were, Maya. You really beat the odds. You should not have been here. I've had doctors say that to me. You understand? So they knew what they were, they understand what they were dealing with. This is no ordinary feat, huh? And they had to have intervention, man. So I had to do it big, Adrian. I couldn't imagine turning 50 and not doing it big. Can imagine. Can imagine.
Now, out of your experience then, what would you say to a person, maybe a family member of someone who's now facing a health crisis? What kind of word of encouragement could you share even now with someone who this minute is facing a crisis, a health crisis with either themselves or a family member?
With God, there's hope. There's hope. There's always hope with God and in God. When God is in the midst, invite Him. Invite Him in first. Um, there is hope. And my father made a declaration on the news, CBC News that night in 1998, when he said, God is sovereign. We know that He can heal Maya. We want Him to heal Maya. We're looking for Him to heal Maya. But we also are bold enough to say that even if He doesn't, if He chooses to do something else, that He will still be God. No, that takes guts, that takes faith. He will still be God, and we will still serve Him the same way. And, we have to get to that place where we understand and declare that He is sovereign, and we submit to His will in faith, believing that He can do it, believing with all our hearts and soul that He can do it.
Yes,
He's done it for me, and He can do it for you. You see me
yes.
here only because
I
of
love
God,
that.
faith, faith,
Yeah.
faith, faith,
I
right?
love that. I love that perspective from your dad.
Mm-hmm.
I often have to remind people of the chapter of faith in
Yes,
Hebrews.
yes,
It's a wonderful read,
mm-hmm.
It talks about some very interesting things. And
Yes,
all of the persons there are listed as heroes of faith.
yes,
But if you
yes,
go through, some had their children sawn asunder. Uh,
yes,
some did not see what they were hoping for, but they
yes.
listed
Abraham is a good
heroes
one,
of
good
faith.
example. Abraham, he had no
Yeah.
clue, no instructions, nothing, but he
So
left.
your dad was right on. You
Yes,
know, we have to
yes.
trust God. If we believe God, we believe Him. Regardless, we trust Him.
Regardless,
And
regardless.
yes, yes,
That's
yes.
it. You see,
And
faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not
evidence
seen.
of things
So
not
it's
seen.
when we can't see, that's when faith needs to arise. When we can't
Yes,
understand, that's when faith needs to kick in. That's what faith
yes.
is. You can't
You know,
have, go ahead.
it's so sad at times to hear a person praying about something and they don't see the outcome that they're looking for, and then they want to turn their back on God because
Mm-hmm.
but is He sovereign? Are we really, really committed to Him? Are we surrendered to His will and His way? And
Mm-hmm.
the thing that you're looking for may not even turn out the way that you think,
That's
but
right.
it's all going to work out for your good.
Yes,
And we
yes,
got to believe God.
yes.
So I'm encouraged to hear uh, that approach, and I'm sure others will be too. You look to when you look back though, and I can't help because I was really inspired by what I saw and heard. Is there anything on Sunday in that evening that surprised you? Because you had some surprises for a number of people. Is there anything that surprised
Well, the bouquet that was presented to me, I thought I had it all covered. I thought, I was one up everybody, but they had me, they had me.
you?
Um, I still think I'm still mesmerized by the crowd. I'm still
Absolutely.
mesmerized by the crowd, honestly. Honestly, I'm still mesmerized by the crowd, the love, and they stayed. They stayed, and they were so engaged. They worshipped, man. You could see that everybody there was having a moment, and feeling. Every song was for somebody, and I mean to hear the response of the crowd, the audience, man. Oh, that warmed my heart to hear how they were. I mean, really, just I mean, just soaking this in, and being so expressive in worship. You know, oh my goodness, it was so heartwarming to hear that and to feel that energy. I mean, all the artists were saying, "Man, the energy out there is something else." You know, it really was just a magnificent feeling. You know, honestly, yes.
And
But okay,
I do
the
hope
people,
it was the kind of evening that you hope more persons had a chance to experience.
yes.
Um, the and you're right, the response was an amazing response, and that says something to you in terms of how people see you, and to get them to respond and to come out like that. What can you do to maybe allow more persons into that experience? Is it recorded?
Yes, and so we're working on getting that, uploaded, because we had a little power issue in the middle, so we're working on having the two parts merged and then uploaded very soon. Yep, so you can look out
Okay,
for that as
so
well.
we can look
Persons are
out for that.
waiting.
So, Maya, tell
Yes.
me, what's the next chapter for Maya Daniel? Is this something that God has? I know you're doing the ministry within the church, but is this something that you feel that God has specially for you to do? What can we expect in the next chapter? Remember, you're still a singer. People are still expecting to hear that voice. What can we look forward to?
I am just I'm going with his flow. Let's just say that I'm going with his flow. And wherever he leads, I will follow. This is a lot of work, Adrian. And you produce so many shows, and so Adrian, this is a lot of work,
Really?
and it requires time, money, energy, prayer, fasting. It was intense. It was really intense for all these people, especially ensemble, the band. It was really, really very intense for us. Um, and so I mean they're ready though. I mean, persons are asking me already about next year and all kind of thing. Oh my gosh, I don't know, Adrian, because I'd have to start planning that all now. I listen, but I don't know that it's going to be. I don't know it's necessarily going to be an annual thing. I can't say it's going to be an annual thing at this level to pull this off at this level, Adrian. And the person kept saying this is an international standard, and so to pull this off, Adrian. Oh my gosh, oh my goodness. We'll see. I don't want it to be watered down. I don't want that. It has to be special. But there are things in between, even before we get to the next one, there are things in between there that, God is saying to me that I want to see come to fruition as well. Um, Different scale altogether, different thing. Just this from Maya's heart, thing is more than just, an event, right? Um, so no, stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for that. But I
Well,
think this is a movement now. So
you
you're gonna
you
see more
talked
of
about
that.
the amount of work that it was, but I just want to take the time to say to you that you and the others who worked with you did a really
Yes.
excellent job. It really gladdens my heart to
Oh,
see.
thank you so much,
I love
Adrian.
when I go to a production, see something being produced and see it done at that level. I can't tell you how excited I get. I'm really pleased to see what you did. And you and the
Oh,
team, I
thank
know
you.
that it would have taken a number of people working together with you to
Oh
achieve
my,
that,
oh
all of the
my.
technical, everything. And congratulations to you and the team. You did really, really well. And we do look forward. And when you do that well, you have to do it again. May not be exactly the same thing, but that level of production, that type of quality is really needed. So you can't back away from it now. And yes,
Uh,
you
but I'm
have
gonna
to
make a
do it
plea for
again.
sponsors all now. Oh my goodness, man. Yeah.
Once you trust the Lord, it will be there. It will be there.
Yes.
We've had a really wonderful time chatting with you.
It was a
And
pleasure,
I
Adrian.
usually like to ask my guests because we're in this season when people have sort of become very anxious and fearful in this nation, Barbados. So when I chat with a person like you here at Gospel Plus Conversations, we want you to have an opportunity to say something to the nation and to persons who might be listening and be concerned about what's happening within our country. What words and what would you share at this time with them before you go?
What I would say, Adrian, is that I think sometimes we gloss over the words in the second verse of the anthem. Sometimes we don't even sing the second verse anymore. The Lord
Mm.
has been the people's guide for
Yes,
past 300 years. With him
yes,
still on the people's side, we have
we have
no doubts
no
or
doubt.
fears. We gloss over that, Adrian. I said sometimes we don't even sing it.
Don't even bother
But that
singing.
to me, that to me is probably the best part of the anthem. I love my
It
anthem.
is.
But that part, and I the
Mm.
fact that the writer thought it necessary to put it in all those years back then, Adrian,
Yes,
speaks volumes. Speaks volumes, and
yes.
that could have been by chance. That could have been a mistake. A mistake.
I
That was
don't think so.
intentional. That was intentional. And I want us to return to that place where we allow Him to be the guide of our lives, because it's
Because
okay to
he
have it in
doesn't
the anthem.
change.
That's it, you
Yes,
know. And He was the guide then, and I want us to be intentional about making Him Lord and guide of our individual lives. Because if we all do that, then imagine
yes,
what we are to what we be together. It'd be more than just
yes,
words in an anthem. You see what I mean? We wouldn't just
yes,
be
yes.
singing idle words, but we would really, really, really be declaring that over this nation. So I want
And
us to return to that place where we make Him the Lord and guide
our
of
guide.
our lives. That's
So
what
that
I
fear,
want from
so that
Barbados.
fear can be eliminated.
That's it, because with Him, with Him and with faith, it eliminates. It eliminates the amount of space we have for fear. You see, when we fill the space with faith, then we reduce the amount of space and time there is for fear.
Yes. My, I want to thank you so much for taking time to chat with us. I know you're busy, and we really do appreciate it. I want to say to you again, many congratulations on your evening. It was wonderful. Myself and Margaret, we enjoyed it, and we're
Thank
looking
you.
forward to be back next year.
Thank you so much, Adrian. Thank you, Mark. Thank you so much for coming. I said I knew I had to invite you so you could sit down and relax, because you're always, working, doing something, some show, some production. And every time I have opportunity to invite you somewhere, you can sit down and just relax. I love to do that. So I'm happy that you were able to come, and I'm happy you were blessed and that you're inspired and that you enjoyed it. And thank you for having me
Yes,
today. I'm
yes,
really, really honored to be here. God bless you. God
honored to
bless.
have you.
Thank you so your team. Thank you so
Thank
very
you.
much.
God bless you, Maya.
God bless you, Adrian. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.